It's an
Maybe during this
iPhone.
call, I'll convince you to get the iPhone 12.
I hope this is not how the conversation is going to be steered, but who knows, right? Hello, you beautiful people. Now, let me get this straight. I have nothing against Apple and Apple products. In fact, most of the technology in my house runs on Apple technology and Apple products. I use an iPhone. I edit my videos on a MacBook Air. I also have an iMac. We have an Apple TV and a few other Apple products. And we are pretty happy with those. But here's why I will not be buying the new iPhone 12. Because I already have a fully functional phone. The way I look at it, when I already have a fully functional phone that caters to my every need, I simply do not see the reason in spending my time or energy or money into buying something new just because it might be considered a status symbol or might be the in thing to do or might have some fringe benefits which at the moment I don't see adding tangible value to my life. I have had this iPhone 7 for the past 3.5 years and I'm gonna keep using it till it breaks. This is the first iPhone I ever bought and I'm really happy with it. And the next time I need to buy a phone, I will probably buy an iPhone. But that time is just not now. Like I said, nothing against iPhones and Apple. It's just that I like to live my life minimally. Identify my essential needs, take care of those needs, and then use the rest of my time to create something of value to the world around me and myself. Sometimes it's easy to get into a rut and not even realize it, where we end up spending a lot of our time and money on acquiring and consuming things that at the end of the day might not even be adding that much value to our lives. These things might in fact end up taking a lot of our headspace and time and physical space, which might result in overall lesser productivity in our lives and lesser mindful living. So yeah, I'm a minimalist and this is my take on the subject. But I do realize that there is a whole other train of thought. People who upgrade their phones every year, and not just phones, right? People who live non-minimalist lives. So I thought it might be an interesting experiment to chat with a friend of mine, Sapeksha Vemulapati, who buys the new iPhone every time it gets released, to get his take on the subject. Basically, two people, me and Sapeksh, who are both Apple product lovers but have very different spending patterns. So yeah, let's cut to the chat with Sapeksh.
Okay.
Thank you, Sapeksh, for agreeing to be on this Zoom call with me. So
Absolutely.
first of all, yes, I want to start by asking you, how many Apple products do you currently use?
Okay. I'll have to count. But I have an iPad, an iPhone, a watch, AirPods, HomePod, Mac, Apple TV. Yeah, maybe that counts it.
Is it safe to say that your house is completely Apple run?
Yes.
All the technology.
I run my house technology with Apple. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Now, I was just trying to draw a parallel because we pretty much do the same.
See, there's a lot of Apple families out there.
Yes. So now let's get into why these two Apple families, yours and mine, are different, right? So with the iPhone 12 that's going to come out now, are you planning to buy it?
Yes, absolutely. I already pre-ordered one. I woke up at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., in whichever time zone I was. I woke up at 6 a.m. in the morning because that's when the pre-order opened. And if you don't order it within the first 10 minutes, the wait time is like a month. So I ordered within the first 10 minutes an iPhone 12 Pro, and I went back to sleep after that.
Okay, very good. So can you explain the logic behind doing this or wanting to do this?
Yes. I mean, I'll try to. It's a lot of emotional attachment I have to Apple, but what I generally get from buying new products is I want to be on the wave of people who is the earliest adopter for the new technology that comes out. Now, when Apple invests in something, it's fully at scale. So if they're going with, let's say, an AR capability that you can play around with your phone, or if they're going with some sort of fast speed connectivity between their devices, it's just, I like to be among the first few people to try it and use it and make that part of my daily life. Is super exciting for me.
Nice. Do you upgrade your phone every year when the new iPhone comes out?
have been doing it almost every year, I'd say. Um, Starting from 4S, I had the 4S, skipped the 5 because I was in college and I couldn't afford a phone every year.
Yeah.
But then I had the 5S, 6, 6S, 7, and then they launched the 10. I got the 10. And then they launched 10S, which I felt like wasn't really that enticing. All they did was change some basic things, and I wasn't really excited about the tech. So skip the 10S. That was the first phone I skipped since back in the college days. And then 11 and then 12.
Wow. So this is I'm also an iPhone user, like I said. This is my first and only iPhone. It's
Maybe
an
during this
iPhone.
call, I'll convince you to get the iPhone 12.
I hope this is not how the conversation is going to be steered, but who knows, right? And so it's been 3.5 years. I have not seen or felt the need to buy or upgrade to any other phone. So for me, as long as this phone is working, I'm happy with it. So that is what I wanted to try and understand, is that why do you think it's so necessary to put in the time and energy, effort and money into buying something when you already have something that is fulfilling all of your purposes? So I'm coming from a point of view of leading a minimalistic sort of lifestyle, which is what I'm doing. So that is,
Right.
I'm trying to understand this gap.
I have thought about that myself sometimes. Why I have an urge to get the next phone. If currently I have an iPhone 11 Pro, functioning absolutely fine. The amount of value I feel I get from these tech devices, I think, is way higher than the amount I spend on it, and the value it's able to offer to me in terms of the productivity. Even if it takes off a few seconds off of my day, I think it's a huge value add. And I think the money that I spend towards it to compensate for that is basically nothing. Also, side note, I have some Apple stock, so Apple stock keeps going up, and some Apple is definitely making me more money than what I'm spending on it. But anyways,
So, okay, arguably this new iPhone, the iPhone 12, is shifting to a 5G technology, so it could possibly shave off a couple of seconds of time that you spend in your day. But all the previous versions that you kept adding on to, upgrading to every year, were they really adding so much benefit to you? Were they shaving off seconds from the time that you spent on your phone every day?
I mean, I'd like to justify myself with that, but if I really think about it, there's definitely part emotion, like part loyalty. So I am definitely a fanboy. I'm very open about that with everybody I meet. If I love Snapchat, I'll talk about it to 10 people. So every product that I like, I just become an extreme fan of them, and I like to be their voice as well.
You said Snapchat, right? If you did not spend so much time in Snapchat, do you feel your day might go a whole lot smoother or a whole lot more productive? Or is being on something like Snapchat or spending a lot of time on companies like Apple, interested in their product, spending time in buying it, do you think that's adding so much more value to your life than just, having your blinkers on and focusing on the more basic things in life?
I see. Okay. I see. You're asking the question in terms of the perspective of the extreme minimalist who tries to get away from things versus people who acquire all these indulgements or like devices or whatever.
Yeah, a path in the middle somewhere.
So if I look back at my every single day's, let's say, survival or productivity or whatever it is, whatever I want to get done in the day, I feel like these devices actually help me focus better when I want to get tasks done. So more often than not, talking to people through Snapchat or like even using Apple products, I think the products that I tend to love will help me get my task done in as short time as possible with as less friction as possible, allowing me to spend more time on things that I want to spend.
So do a lot of people in the circle that you hang out in, do a lot of people upgrade to the new iPhone the moment it's released? Is there some sort of peer pressure, a status symbol associated with this in the US or anywhere else?
Interesting. I'm in tech and also deal a lot with the iOS app space. So definitely my work community buys a lot of the new devices. Nobody is as crazy as me buying the phone every year, but they still are up to date. Like they'll be within 2 years, maybe like worst case 3 years of the latest phone. My personal networks, I know nobody who's buying Apple phones as much as I do. They don't even care. They're pretty much like you, I guess. They'll buy one in like 4-5 years, and until it literally dies, the glass breaks, it's shit. That's when they'll switch to the new one.
Yes.
So there's definitely no peer pressure for me. I'm just buying it out of my own whim and for the reasons we discussed. But I can see a peer pressure thing in the younger generation. So I have a bunch of cousins here. They always want to get the new phones only because their closer friends have gotten new phones. So I feel like I've seen the peer pressure thing in my first cousins who are in undergrad right now, who are just graduating. There's some sense of I want this phone only because everybody else is getting it. What brings you to this minimalist setup? What drives you to this core behavior?
I kind of realized that is how I have been living my life, except that I didn't know that I could label it as a minimalist life until recently.
Or like, how do you think this is helping your everyday outlook? Like you were saying something about focus, and I wanted to ask, how do you think it's driving focus or other behaviors,
it's just
personality things?
It's that when I don't have to think about all these other things, I have that much more time and mind space and clarity in my own head to think about the things I do want to think about. Like whether it's like making videos, or whether it's like, cooking healthy food, or spending more time on nurturing my relationships. So all of that for me, I classify as clutter, which I understand that for someone like you, it's not that. It's actually aiding you in the way you live your life.
I can see why. I can see the reasoning behind your lifestyle.
Thank you.
I can see the extremes.
Yeah, no, but that's another thing. The important thing is to not go on to like an extreme line where it becomes unhealthy, right? Like where if it is not the way you want it to be, then you're not able to function. Like that's the whole idea, is to be free flowing through time and space and not get hung up on certain ideas of what your life should be like. So I guess whatever aids you in flowing through life, you do that. Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sapex. This was enlightening to say the least.
Well, I hope you're able to see some of the worlds of the Apple nerds like on my side.
In all honesty, I think you are one of the more sensible ones. Like you have a sensible, some part of it is sensible and logic.
Oh, thank you, Anita. Thank you for thinking I'm sensible. That helps.
Some part of it is the logical rationale behind why you make the purchasing decisions you do. Okay, thanks for doing this. Bye.
Bye.
There you go. The idea of this chat was to get a glimpse into why two seemingly opposite people make the spending decisions they do. Why one chooses to be a minimalist and why one chooses not to. I hope you took something away from this video, some interesting thought. Let me know in the comments below, what side are you on? Are you a minimalist or a non-minimalist or somewhere in between? Why do you spend the way you do? Also, let me know in the comments below what other topics you would like to see videos on, and I will make those videos for you. I'll see you again on Friday with a brand new video. Until then, you stay safe, take care, and be happy. Bye.